Yeah, boom. Happy Monday. How are you today? Thank you for stopping by. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Is that trademarked? Probably is, right? Do I have to pay something if I say that? Actually, that's on my mind because I was just watching, or I started watching, I should say, Tom Hanks as Mr. Fred Rogers in the movie A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. It's on, am I watching it on Netflix or Prime? I can't keep the two straight. Yeah, it's on Amazon Prime. And I've always been a big Tom Hanks fan, from his comedy to his, Forrest Gumps and all that sort of stuff. So I'm really enjoying the movie. It's I think it's a good story. It's a feel good story, as you would expect that with it being about Fred Rogers, but it's deeper than that. There's more than one story going on there. It's not just about Fred Rogers. I can tell you that. Do we need a Fred Rogers right now? Do we need a Mr. Rogers? Are we missing Mr. Rogers? Hello, Barry. Barry says, good afternoon. Again. Jesse, hey, mister, how you doing? Boy, I don't complain about the weather, really, but it is hot. Like, I'm not complaining by any means. I don't know why people complain about the weather. It's one of those things you have no control over, right? So why do we complain about the weather? I don't have a swimming pool. I told Jennifer a long time ago. I said, no, we don't need a swimming pool. Let's make friends with people who have swimming pools. Make friends with people who have swimming pools. Make friends with people who have boats. That kind of stuff. I grew up around swimming pools when I was younger. My parents had a swimming pool business. My dad installed swimming pools. There were points when I was a kid, we had 3 swimming pools in our backyard. It was a big backyard, yes, but we had like an in-ground pool and we had a couple of above-ground pools for display, right? So needless to say, I had a lot of friends in the summer. I didn't have any friends in the winter. So there you go. Jesse, you're in AC. Are you working right now, Jess? Yeah. The thing about working in AC all day, I remember my retail store days. You work in the AC all day, and then when you come out, it is super hot then, right? Because your body, anyway. But it's good. Mother Nature's being good to us. It's been great. Well, it's been great motorcycle weather. Not going to lie about that. I don't know if you saw there. So Jennifer and I, shameless plug, we've started an Instagram about our motorcycle travels together as a married couple. And I'm really super excited for Jennifer because she's got her M1, and this weekend she's taken the Learning Curves course. It's called Safety Course. And she'll have her M2, and then we'll be on the road together. Jason, my son, I'm feeling so bad for him right now because he got his M1. But when you're 19 years old, and he's going to be 20 August 3rd, so in a couple of weeks, wow, I better go get the birthday present, eh? Try to get motorcycle insurance. It's unbelievable. Like, I get that he's young. I get that it's a motorcycle. We know motorcycles are higher risk. But come on. He got a quote for a bike, and not a big bike. It was like a 500 cc. $13,000 for a year on a motorcycle. That's insane. I don't understand. I mean, I'm not an insurance person, so I don't know how it works, but man, something else. So I'm feeling really bad for him because, you're young and you're excited and you get your license. Like, he doesn't even have his driver's license yet. He's got his motorcycle license before he's got his driver's license. I'm just feeling really bad for him. Akash Kapuria. I hope I said that right, Akash. I never say it right, I know. Love the Instagram page. Great stuff. Looking forward to more good content. Yeah, it's exciting. And when I told Jennifer I started it, she's like, really? I'm like, yeah, it'll be fun. She doesn't have to do anything. I'll take all the pictures and video. She'll get it. We'll get Jennifer in front of the camera soon. She's camera shy. Who else there? Alfredo Tigolo. How are you? Watching on Twitter. Thanks for being here today. Nice to see your name pop up there, Alfredo. We get fireworks. Well, we normally get fireworks twice, right? Because we have the Canada Day celebration. And thanks to everyone for the birthday wishes, by the way. I had a great, I worked, but I had a good time after. And then we get, everybody goes down under the bridge, right, or along the river all the way down to watch the American fireworks, which was spectacular. I got out with my friend Ryan. He lives right downtown facing the water. I don't know, 12th floor up, I think. So pretty high up. And anyway, I did a live video. I did a 1 hour Facebook live, just standing there holding my phone. It was just amazing to see all the fireworks from all the, I guess, I don't think they were backyard fireworks because they were high up in the sky. I think cities, municipalities, groups, I don't know, all over the place, and way far away we could see them. It was spectacular. Both Ryan and I said, all the years living here, never seen anything like that. Alfredo says, doing great. Busy with work as usual, right? Still delivering I can't talk. Still delivering Amazon parcels. I don't think we can get a chess game at all with these busy schedules. I wasn't planning on doing it anyway. Just saying. I'm not doing the chess thing. Stephen and I actually mentioned it on our show today. For those of you who don't know, I do an international show with my friend Stephen Healy, who's in Wiltshire, England. He lives about 20 minutes from Stonehenge. We've been doing our show for coming up on 3 years in October. Wow. And we mentioned that, and I'm like, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing the chess thing. It just doesn't interest me right now. I got a motorcycle. Why would I want to sit inside and play chess, right? All right. So thanks, everybody, for being here. Take the time to say hello, like you see some of our regular friends here that are doing that. Let us know where you're watching from as well, because we're simulcast throughout Canada, but throughout the United States. And we are out of British Columbia right now as well. We're also, where are we? We're in England, I think Australia, South Africa, all that stuff. So say hello, let us know where you're watching from. All right, well, let's talk a little bit. I'm just going to remind you, get your numbers from the accurate places, like lambtonpublichealth.ca. Great place to get your accurate information regarding COVID-19. I know there was a couple more numbers just went up a little bit. I'm not going to give you the numbers here. We were doing that for a while. I think everybody's probably tired of all that. If you want the information, I'm just saying, get accurate information. lambtonpublichealth.ca, great place to do it. Also, go to sarnia.ca to find out things that are open, things that are closed. I know there is a discussion coming up. You can also go to my website, theshowlive.live, for some news updates as well. I know there's a discussion coming up on Wednesday that is going to be discussed about, and here, you can respond to this. I wish I could put polls up. Whether or not we should be wearing masks in public places. A lot of other municipalities and public health boards have said that. The question is, why aren't we doing that here? What's your opinion on that? Share it in the comments below, wherever you're watching from. I don't know. And I'm not, the thing is, we're not the medical professionals. At least you might be. I'm not. So my opinion is based on what? Based on what I don't know? Just based on, well, what's the big deal? Or I don't know. So they'll be discussing that. Lambton County Council will be discussing that as well. Who do we got? California. Hello from California, Alfredo. And we got Karen all the way down in South Carolina. Good to have you here no matter where you're from. So anyway, I'm sure we'll have some news out about that coming up. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. You can watch the live stream of the county councils as well. At the end of the day, Dr. Sudhit Renade, the medical officer for Lambton County, has said in press releases that social distancing is way more effective than wearing a mask. So in my mind, if you're the 2 meters apart, and if that's the safe distance to be apart so that you don't get COVID, why do I have to wear a mask? Well, they've also said that if social distancing could be a challenge, wear your mask. I don't do the groceries in the house. Jennifer does that. Thank goodness. But she has said sometimes people get right by you there still. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. All right. Well, a couple of things happened over the weekend as well we want to talk about. I'm very, very grateful for this. We had a motorcycle ride. We had the inaugural Ride of Respect back in May 30th. We'll be doing that. I'll be planning that again for next year. But the virtual Canada parade that I broadcast on Canada Day was a huge success. And I want to say thanks to Tourism Sarnia-Lambton for their support of that. Also to DT Freight Express, my friend Dan Tidball supporting in there. And then we had a Canada Day ride, which started our friends from Oswald's Diner allowed us to use the parking lot to start things off. We had about 35 motorcycles come out. And we did a quick ride through Sarnia. A lot of people, we were tooting the horns and revving the motors, and people got a real thrill out of that. Combined from the virtual Canada Day parade and the motorcycle ride, we raised $700 for the youth transitional housing facility known as Ohana Landing, or the former ABC daycare here. So very grateful to everyone who participated in the Canada Day virtual parade, the first ever. We made history. I want to say thanks to the city of Sarnia for collaborating together. We had a lot of fun putting it on, and I was glad to be a part of that as well. And Ohana Landing, I'm going to go and see Tammy this week and hand her $700 from all of my friends who participated in that. So how awesome is that we can come together and just like that raise some money for a great cause. So it is fantastic, Karen. Thanks for saying that. And again, thank you to Oswald's Diner. Good friends of mine. Good food down there on Plank Road. So go see them. They're doing delivery. They have a drive-through there, and they got ice cream. They got ice cream too. So we'll down and see our friends Oswald's Diner. Thanks again, everybody, for supporting that as well. And speaking of patios being open, the Moose Lodge here on Phillip Street in Sarnia, I'm a member there, and I was missing the Moose, and they finally got their patio open, and they're ready to serve. They have their Friday night Women of the Moose meals. They had lasagna last week. It's pick up or take out. But they got the refreshments there. You can buy your meat raffle tickets, and they have meat raffle draws every Friday night at 7:30. So I'm looking forward to getting back and seeing our friends at the Moose Lodge. Support the Moose. They support local. The money that they raise, they divvy it up to many different organizations every year and support the community in general. I'm very proud to be a member there and very thrilled to see that they got things, a nice little patio out front there. I hope all these places get to keep their patios like after we come out of all of this, because there was a lot of these places that would have loved to have a patio and served alcohol out on the patio, and no, you can't do that because. So I hope they keep letting them do it. It's good for the economy, right? You got to have people want to drink in their hand and they want to be on a patio. So why not let them have it? Everybody seems to be behaving through this as well. Barry Loxton, practicing social distancing but not wearing a mask. I would if I felt I was in a situation where it was necessary to wear one. Barry, I'm with you, buddy. I'm with you. All right. Well, if you think things are hot out there right now, we got hot in a bottle. And we're going to talk to this young fella here right now. Let's get him on here. Josh, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me, Dave.
Yeah, no problem. I know you're a busy guy, and I think we've crossed paths a few times, but haven't really sat down and talked. So I've been looking forward to this. Yeah. You are the founder of Top Shelf Canada.
Correct.
Right. And Front Street Heat is your baby. You created this hot sauce that has become Canada's premium hot sauce.
Yeah, trying to get it there anyway. I mean, it's shown a lot of potential, a lot of growth in the first few years. So I'm pretty happy with where it's at, and hopefully people keep supporting it.
Yeah. Well, let's go back to the beginning. When did you first get this thought, if you will, for creating your own hot sauce?
It was after a shift at work. I've been a bartender and server for 18 years or so. I got done a shift and I was having a meal. I wasn't crazy about the hot sauce options that I had to put on my salmon and leek pie that I was having because they're largely vinegar based. So I started kind of thinking to myself, why aren't there more hot sauce options that are a bit of a different texture, not a vinegar base? And then that got me thinking about why don't we have our own proudly Canadian condiment level hot sauce where we have like Frank's and Tabasco and all these imported brands that we use. We don't have anything that's really got the stamp of Canada on it kind of thing. So I started working with a friend of mine who is a pretty brilliant culinary scientist, and I came up with an approximate recipe. he kind of perfected it, and we just went from there, and everyone seems to like it a lot. So
Yeah. I tried some. I meant to bring it down. I've still got some. I got just a tiny little bit left. I'm not a real I like spicy hot, but I don't like super like kill me hot. Right? Did you have a bit of a? How did you decide? Like, it's not super super hot, right? It's a good hot.
by design,
How did you? Sorry?
There's a lot of hot sauces out there that are about being as hot as you can possibly be. I didn't necessarily think that was what I wanted to do as far as Canada's hot sauce. What I wanted to do primarily is give people something with a lot of flavor and a good texture, and that red pepper base rather than the vinegar base. And from there, I mean, once you've got a successful delicious sauce that people like, well, then I can take it and I can add heat to it. I mean, I'm going to release Front Street Fire at some point down the road here, and that'll just be the same taste profile, but a hotter version of it. But for the first product, I wanted something that some kids will like, that even people who don't love hot sauce will like, but still people who like hot sauce will appreciate the little bit of spice that it brings and the flavor type thing, right?
I like how you describe that, because I've talked to a lot of people about you and your sauce, and the common word that comes up is flavor.
Right.
And that seems to be the biggest part of what you've created here. Like I've people use it with chicken, and they're like, oh, it gives it a great flavor and everything else. And was it hard to decide how hot you were going to make the first one, or did you think about making a really hot one first, or how did you decide that?
No, I didn't really think about doing a really hot one, because I feel like that market is extremely saturated at this point. There's a ton of hot sauces with all their different gimmicks. For me, it was, what are people going to enjoy? What are people going to use as a new Canadian condiment? What are they going to use as a culinary ingredient? What are they going to use in a Caesar? I wanted something that everyone would enjoy. I mean, even from a business standpoint, it doesn't make a lot of sense to create a hot sauce that you're going to use 2 drops of and put in the fridge for 2 years.
Yeah.
I'd rather have something that people will enjoy on many different things, and many different people will enjoy it. So it was never going to be a crazy hot sauce. That wasn't what I was trying to do. And more than like trying to compete with those hot sauces, I'm really trying to create a new Canadian condiment more than anything.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think it's fantastic what you've done. And you had a big event. Was it last year you had the big event down in front of Patty Flaherty's there?
It was a few years ago, actually. It was the first.
Was it that long? Oh wow!
Yeah, it was my launch, my official launch party of the sauce, and it was it was the first summer. Now we're on Canada Day was the company's 3rd birthday now. So,
okay.
Yeah, so it was a while back, but it was a great time.
Yeah, you must have a lot of support behind you with this, because I don't think you just grab a bottle and put the sauce in and then hopefully put it in stores. Is there quite a process to achieve being on? Are you on the top shelf?
Well, the top shelf is sometimes hard to achieve depending on which banner you're in. But people pay a lot of money to be on that top shelf. So what I've been able to do is I've been able to get a lot of people to rally behind the idea of Canada having its own hot sauce. That's created a very friendly opening conversation with grocery managers and distributors and anyone who would be interested in something like it. It's just, it gets that extra little bit of, what, I like this idea. I like the idea of Canada having its own hot sauce. So that helped open a few doors, which helped open a few more doors. And it was just a lot of learning as I went. There's been a ton of obstacles, things that looked like they could be devastating, and you just figure out ways to make it work, and you find the right people that'll help out. And I've been lucky enough to find a lot of those people along the way. Yeah.
Well, I've always said, surround yourself with the right people and great things can happen. Right.
Absolutely.
Right down to the packaging, and I'm not even talking the bottle, but how you pack it in a box. That all had to be a consideration, I'm sure, as well, if you're going to start shipping things around the world.
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of that is assisted by my co-packer, so that we don't have facilities here that have the regulation that I would need to get into all the grocery stores and corporate structures. So it has to be packed in Etobicoke up near Toronto. I was lucky enough to get a co-packer that saw the idea, tried the sauce, and believed in the possibility of it becoming something really big, because they don't normally look at small companies like me from Sarnia. It was very lucky that I was able to secure that. And when you've got that person working with you that does this for the big boy companies, they have all those things figured out. They know how to package it properly. They know how to do those things. So I was very lucky to take an idea, some marketing, and a product that had the potential to work, and convince the right type of people that it was going to.
Yeah. It must tell. Did it help, like being in the business that you're in? Like the hospitality business, I guess, restaurant business. And I know where you work down at Patty Flaherty's there. Were they a big supporter of it too?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. To speak to that, they supported me from the start. They allowed me to throw the launch party concert on their lawn. They always let me have bottles of sauce in the building so that I could bring it out while I was working and let people try it, and then they try it on their meal at Patty's, and then they go buy it in the grocery store. So having that as like a always running demo was absolutely it was huge, and I'm very appreciative to Scott and Ange for allowing me to do that. As far as this industry, I would not be anywhere close to doing what I'm doing right now if it wasn't for bartending and serving. The different connections that I've made that started it out, the way that you're able to read and adapt to people and be comfortable talking to certain people. I wouldn't have been able to do half of what I've done 10 years ago. And it's been the experience of working in that industry, I think, that's really made all the difference in me being able to even come close to pulling something like this off.
Yeah. Well, it's going well. I mean, you're in Sarnia, and you're in Shoppers Drug Mart, Metro. Are you in the Superstore?
Yeah, in Sarnia, pretty much all of them. No Frills, Food Basics, Davy Jones, you get the local name in there for sure. Pure Local Organics carries it. Sunripe has it. So yeah, it's in most of the places there. The bigger news outside of Sarnia is that it's actually expanding very quickly throughout Ontario. It's in going into close to 80 Sobeys and Foodlands now, just recently with our expansion. Already within 20 or so metros, and things are starting to pick up as far as its reach. So it's starting to get out into the GTA, into these Sobeys and stuff like that. So that's a big step for the company for sure.
Yeah, because you're in London and Windsor, and did I hear the word worldwide now? Are you outside of Canada?
Not currently worldwide, no. I'm about to set up Amazon in the States as the first step.
Okay.
Right now I'm selling on Amazon, but it's only Amazon.ca. And it's been going very well. It sells well. It's actually sold out a couple of times. It takes a little bit to set up the US part of that, but I'm going to do that, and then eventually probably open some kind of US chapter of the company and try to push it out as a Canadian product into their country. Right now, I'm just kind of holding back on that a little bit because we have to figure out what's going on with this world and whether or not we're importing and exporting to begin with, right?
Yeah. You must, do you have a hard time containing this excitement? Because this is, like, you think about this for a minute, what you've done, what you've accomplished. And you're a young fella, so congratulations at a young age to be doing this. And is this your retirement plan, or are you still bartending as well, or what's the goal here?
I was still bartending all the way up until COVID hit. When COVID hit, it was probably about the time that I should have been really looking at putting everything into this and stopping with that stuff anyway. But that was kind of the push that I needed to say, you know what, it's time to put your head down and make this happen and stop doing that. So COVID was kind of the reason that I retired from bartending. Yes.
Yeah. I bet they'll miss you though, because I know you're a good bartender.
Oh, I'm a pain in the butt. They won't miss me that much.
What is it? What's been the toughest obstacle in all this for you? Because I know, like, your personal life still has to happen, and I mean, I know with COVID-19, there's obvious challenges. But before COVID-19, what's been the biggest challenge in getting this off the ground for you?
Well, yeah, it was trying to be everything. I think for a long time in the start of this, it was basically I still had to work to pay my mortgage. I still had a kid who played baseball and then the different things that come along with that. But then I'm doing the marketing for this. I'm doing the bookkeeping for this. I'm dropping cases off out of the back of my CRV and doing distribution myself, going in and selling to stores by myself. Like, it was really a lot of me doing a lot of things all the time, and I didn't stop. So in the first couple of years before I got some distribution help and a little bit of help with certain things and things became a little bit easier, it was just a lot of me grinding and running around a lot. So I felt physically beat down and tired a lot of the time because of that. So I'd say that kind of the grind of doing everything to start it off, especially because, I mean, I didn't come from any money. So it's not like I could go out and invest in this and invest in that. I pretty much had to take, what small investment I had and just work hard to get it somewhere, kind of thing. So that took a lot of sweat.
Good for you. Sweat equity that pays off.
Yes,
and speaking of working hard, you're giving back to the community now, and I want to talk about that before I have to move on. But you've made a decision to give $1 from every bottle sold in Canada will go to United Way. So is that like the United Way, or is it if I buy a bottle at Shoppers, it goes to the United Way Sarnia Lambton?
Yep. No matter where it's bought, basically the United Way they've greenlit me for this national campaign, so they're going to help me coordinate it throughout the entire country where I am. Anytime a bottle is sold to any locality, they're going to help. I'm going to track the sale where it's going, and then they're going to help me distribute the funds to that particular locality. So it's basically it's called Local Love in a Global Crisis. It's set up to help provide services and help the most vulnerable that are dealing with the problems with COVID. And yeah, they're working along with me to not only raise awareness for it, but also once I've got all the donations, they're going to help me distribute it out to the places where the people contributed.
Fantastic. What a great idea. Dave Brown and I have talked about it, and that was my first. He delivered me a bottle of your Top Shelf so that I would talk about it. And I said, hey, well, let's get Josh on here and talk to him about it. So that's great. I think it's fantastic that you're doing that and giving back.
Thanks,
Why
Dave.
was that important to you to do?
Well, I had my plans for the spring, right? I mean, we're going into the third spring. It was an expansion time. I had a plan on what I was going to do. I was probably even going to release Front Street Fire this spring. And when COVID hit, I had no idea what I was going to do, right? I was lucky enough that grocery stores were still open, so I could still continue to run my business. Right. But it came with all new challenges, and I didn't want to be too pushy with anyone who's dealing with it, or managers out there that are trying to figure out where to get toilet paper and how to keep people distanced and all this stuff. And I didn't want to be that, it was the wrong time to be a big salesman. So I said, what am I going to do with this time? And I said, well, I can do something that can help some people as well as be good for the brand. So I kind of put my head down and started thinking about things that I could do to help people out with this crisis. And I was lucky enough to talk with Dave Brown, who has championed this from the second he heard about it. And he kind of ran it up the ladder to the president of the United Way. And it went from there, and everything just kind of fell into place.
Awesome. Congratulations to you, Josh. And I appreciate your time here today. I'm looking forward to I'll probably try the really super hot one just because then I can say I did, right?
mix it with something. You'll be all right.
Yeah, there you go. Josh, congratulations once again. And come on back and see us again when things open up a little more and you can give us an update on what's happening with Top Shelf.
I'd love to do it. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Take care. Josh Lyons, Top Shelf Canada. A great story coming right out of Sarnia here. You can find out more about Top Shelf Canada. You see the website on the screen to find out where it's being sold and what's coming up. You heard about the really super hot one that's coming down the line, so we'll be looking forward to that. Thanks again, Josh, and all the best. All right, well, let's switch gears now. Let's get into music. And this guy, well, he knows music. We're very happy to have Cliff Erickson here joining us. Hi, Cliff.
Hey, David, can you hear me fine?
I can hear you loud and clear, sir.
Oh, great.
I got to tell you, it's been fun. This all coming about what we're going to talk about because I get on YouTube and I was sitting here for probably an hour or so this morning. And then I realized I had to get some work done. just listening to you play music. How long have you been playing professionally now?
I started in 1972.
1972. Wow.
Were you
You've seen a
alive?
lot of. I was. Yep. I would have been 3. But I can tell you, my sister, she's older than me. That's all.
Oh, oh my God.
But she remembers. I remember her going out on nights with her friends to the old 402 Motor Inn
Yeah.
here in Sarnia, going to see Cliff Erickson. My parents, I remember going to see Cliff Erickson. You're the videos I was watching this morning. We'll talk in a moment here, folks, about a special event that Cliff's doing. But the music I was watching, like you're the band. In fact, when you introduce yourself, you say, "Let me introduce you to my band. It's me." Was it hard for you in the beginning it's hard to be up there alone, right? I mean, maybe not now, but was it hard in the beginning?
There were times it was hard, sure. Yeah. Yeah, I started when I was 19 down in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And
Yeah.
at the time, all the venues wanted you to have a drum machine because they wanted you to dance. And
Right.
I didn't want to do that. So as far as being the band, I have a guitar that you could kind of pound on and get a rhythm to it. And I felt like I didn't need that drum machine. So I'm the one-man band.
Well, I think you made a good decision not using that drum machine because it's obviously worked well for you for so many years.
Yeah, it's been good.
Yeah. You have a unique sound. I think that's part of it too. And is it just it seems very natural for you now? And I mean, after doing it so many years, some things become natural. Is there anything that you still have to really work hard at to make a show great?
Well, let me tell you about what's been happening because I've been doing these online streaming
Yeah.
and so as you know, you have to work all the buttons while you're performing and you're really
Yeah.
performing. This is your show. So
Yeah.
you're hitting the buttons. And for me, when I would get up on a live stage, I wouldn't think about what wires are connected and I would just look at these people and communicate with them through music. But here it's quite different. You have to look at a little green light and envision people there. And it does make it's a whole new ball game. But to answer your question, I would listen back to my rehearsals and I go, oh my gosh, I can do better than that. And actually I'm too fast and I'm still critical. I'm playing that too fast. I got to slow
Yeah.
down and get in the pocket, and it's forced me to actually practice, because I was
Right.
I was working 5 nights a week, but now I find I'm practicing and I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah. Kind of getting back to the fundamentals, right? So to speak, and the basics of it all.
Yeah. So when you mentioned you got your own sound, of course, that was out of survival. I was up on a stage and every room, as you know, a different acoustic. So I wanted a good low end sound to keep that rhythm. And I got a guitar that's been with me since 1976, and it works for me because it gives you that big sound, and so
Yeah.
I couldn't have done it I couldn't have made a living with this, David, if I had to partner up with other musicians because you split the money, of course, but
Well,
yeah, so it's been good. It really has.
yeah. And it's a 12-string guitar that you play, right?
Right.
Yeah. Why did you choose to go with a 12-string instead of 6?
Well, back in the day, Glenn Campbell was popular, and he
Yeah.
always played the 12-string guitar. And I just liked the sound of it. We bought an album of his, and of course I would watch him on the Glenn Campbell Good Time Hour.
Oh yeah.
And next thing I know, I'm buying that guitar that he used. And next thing I know, I'm his opening act, and he's coming to visit me in my dressing room. And I said, "Hey, Glenn, are you here to audition?" You know,
And his response
he was
was,
so much fun. He laughed, and I said, I gotta show you." And I got up and I got my guitar. I said, "Look at this guitar." So if you look on my website, photos of myself with Glenn, you'll see us both kind of pulling at the guitar. You know, that
yeah,
guitar, but he's been very influential, and so that's why I started with the 12 string. And of course, when you're by yourself, you need all the help you can get. You know, you need that big sound. So
right.
yeah.
Is it lonely up there sometimes? I mean, when you're the only one, like I
Hmm.
think at least when you have a band there, you know what I mean? Like you can rely on them if things go wrong, and things will go wrong. Like uh, I was watching you play earlier today, and first thing was, oh, what happens if he breaks a string?
And I have done that.
Right?
Oh, absolutely. And then what you do is you take the string and wind it around the head of the guitar and get it out of the way, and then you avoid that string until there's a break. But
Yeah.
but there have been times I broke a string on the very first song, and I would say, folks, you're going to have to entertain yourselves. I know you came here for all 12 strings. You're not going to settle for 11 strings, so I'll be right back.
Right. Right.
Yeah,
You
but
just
to some nights you don't feel great. Other nights, the crowd carries you with their enthusiasm. It's a different formula every night.
Yeah. And I guess it's just the show must go on somehow, whatever that looks like, right?
Yeah, that
Uh,
expression, huh?
right.
Yeah.
You bring a lot of humor to your shows. I mean, the music is obviously the forefront of it all, but your humor is important in your shows, it seems. And I've only ever seen you perform live once, and that was years ago here in Sarnia. But I remember that the humor seemed to be an important factor.
Um, that was another strategy. I'm glad you called it humor because I'm not a comedian.
No, no,
And
you're not.
there's been times where I would drive up to the gig and look on the marquee and it would say comedian Cliff Erickson, and I'd say, "Oh,
Oh,
please, no, take that down." To me, that's the hardest job in show business, standing
yeah,
up there trying to make people laugh. Whereas I can stand behind a guitar, but when you're in a song and you're thinking, okay, what am I going to do, and you have to kind of retune the guitar or something, you don't want any dead spots.
yeah,
So I come from a big family, and they all were personalities, all my siblings and my cousins, and we all would laugh. And we didn't have PlayStations back then, we didn't have the internet. We had a cottage and we'd play cards, and there was a lot of humor. So that was kind of natural for me, just to fill it in and tease people out in the audience. I always, I love people, and so um, people found that entertaining also, and so I incorporated that.
we're going to play a compilation here at the end of our interview in a few minutes, but I noticed there in one of the shots there was a young boy, and he was up on stage with you, and he was playing, and you just seemed like it wasn't just a smile that you had on your face. It was more like a joy of something that you had achieved with him. You meet a lot of people. Do you realize the impact that you have?
uh, I hope so. um, there's been times where I just wow, I just say wow, because that little boy now, I didn't know what you were talking about when you were saying you watched some of my songs, but now I do. But that particular boy was in the crowd, and we were at a campground, the KOA campground, by the way, which
Oh, okay.
a lot of Canadians would come across here in Port Huron,
Yeah, yeah,
and especially on your holiday. And so I got him up because I noticed that he was really into the music, and it is a joy. It is a joy when you see people really give that little man attention.
yeah.
How fortunate I am just to have that opportunity to share to share that. So That was a special moment. And I looked at him, and he was just, I remember that time, and I looked at him, and you mentioned that, I looked a few more than just a glance,
Yeah.
because I reveled in the fun that everybody was having with him. He was the big star, even though, what was he, 4'2" or something? He was.
Yeah. 4 foot nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for bringing that up. That's a great memory.
Yeah. Well, and that kind of leads into my next question. When's the book coming out?
Oh, I don't think I ever, may- I don't think I'll ever have a book. I mean, um, no. I mean, I call myself a countywide rock star. Who's going to want to read a book? It might be it won't be a book. It might be a pamphlet, maybe a pamphlet, or,
Oh, come on.
yeah.
Or maybe is that because there's stories you're not allowed to tell?
Oh, there are a lot of stories I can't tell, but most of them I can tell. You know what I really enjoy, David, and I've traveled all over Canada. I've been to every major Canadian city performing except for Winnipeg.
Oh,
I don't know why, but I really have been across your country, and I really enjoy. Like, I went to Vancouver, and I go into uh, I go into that beautiful hotel right there, right on the harbor. I have my guitar, and somebody says, Cliff, McMaster University, 1989. You know, and here I am. I'm thinking I'm all by myself, and I'm discovered. But I call myself a countywide rock star, kind of in jest. And there's a lot of truth to it, because I worked in, so I'll say, by county now. St. Clair County is where I'm in. You're in
right.
Lambton County, so But uh, that got to be a phrase I'd use in my show. But really, I'm the epitome of showing other musicians you can make a living, and a comfortable living, and not be a big star.
Yeah. I'm glad you brought that up. I mean, I liked how you shared that answer to my question, but I like that you brought up business. Let's talk about that for a moment, because it's an ongoing discussion with musicians. Bars don't pay enough, or I'm only getting paid. Why don't I get paid enough? The business side of this industry is obviously, and you would have seen so many changes from 1972 to now, just with technology, and CD. What's that? How did you handle all of that? Do you have a team, or did you start doing that yourself, or how did that work for you?
Um, Trial and error.
Yeah.
Yeah, because look at you can be Billy Joel working at the Gilwood Inn in Point Edward, you know. Let's say, and you know how good Billy Joel is, but let's say he's got
Yeah.
15 people coming through the door on that Friday night. It's a snowy night. You know, I've always thought of working with the club owner or the venue as a team. If you take a hit, I'm going to take a hit. Uh, let's not worry about the money right now. Let's put on a good show for me. You provide great service and clean restrooms and a lit parking lot,
Yeah.
and eventually I think we can build something. And that's exactly what happened when I played in your town at the Gilwood Inn. I went there.
Yeah.
All right, let's start with whatever you can afford, and if it grows, it, we grow together. So when you mentioned back, it's changed a lot back in 1972 as to now. In many ways, it hasn't changed, because it's still on people's. The challenge is getting people through the door. So you can have, instead of Billy Joel, you have uh, Joe somebody reading the phone book, and he's packing the place.
Right.
He deserves more money. Or if you have one guy like a local guy there in Sarnia, Mark Blaney,
Yeah.
he always a talented guy. And okay, let's say he fills the place, and but then an outside band comes in the next week and has half the amount of people. Should they pay the band more? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Whoever is, however the night works, you count the chickens after they're hatched. I've used that phrase many
Right.
times. If you got the till ringing, then you should be compensated. That goes for Major League Baseball and hockey. If the seats are full, however big the piece of the pie is, you deserve your fair share. So
Yeah.
that's been an education for me over the years, because many times I'd say, "Wow, they're telling me that I'm breaking records, and I'm not seeing what they're seeing." So
Right.
okay, if I'm breaking records, and okay, so uh, let's spruce it up a little bit, but there's everything falls into place. If you love what you do, no matter what business you're in, that all falls into place.
Yep.
Josh, who's selling that hot sauce, I mean, it looks like he's loving it, and that pandemic is forcing him into doing something he wanted to do anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. He
So
needed a little push, and
yeah, what a story, out of necessity. Now he's doing it, and this probably will turn out to be a great time. He'll say 10 years from now, wow, 2020, thank God that happened. It got me, and I had to get rid of my training wheels, and look where we are. So all the best to him, by the way.
yeah. What I asked this to Josh too, and I always like to ask this question because there's obstacles along the way. Um, I'll ask it a little bit differently though. Did you ever think of quitting?
Um, I I did about 3 years into my business. So that would be, I started in 72. So around 75, 76, I thought, oh, this is tough. This is really tough. I mean, this drunken crowd, and oh my God, um, because every street corner had live music, of course, but
Yeah.
uh, it was a tough time. People coming back from the Vietnam War and fights. There'd be rowdy
Yeah.
bars and stuff like that. But no, I loved it. I loved it, and I loved the people, and I loved doing the university circuit in Ontario. I think I've played almost every university in Ontario, and
Oh wow.
I got great fond memories of all those great places.
Did you ever play? And this will tell you the truth about my age. Did you ever play Huey's Junkyard?
Uh, no, I might have gone, and done an impromptu guest song if they called me up. Um,
Okay.
but I played at the old Happy Valley.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and I don't want to sound like I'm bragging, but I also played at the Bell Morale.
Yeah. Hey, some great stars have played at the Balmoral. You're one of them.
Well, did they have the buckets around to collect the rain that was coming through the roof?
I think they fixed the roof by the time I was old enough to drink there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, but and I say that a lot. I say, all these places, Leamington, Ontario. I mean,
Oh wow.
I would go to a show in Toronto, and I say, I don't want to sound like I'm bragging, but I played at the Leamington Tomato Festival.
Right.
Yeah, people go, wow, wow. I
Wow.
just want them to know they're getting their money's worth. But
Yeah.
no, just so, as far as quitting, maybe just a little smidge back
Yeah.
in the time where I was exhausted. I was doing 5, 6 nights a week for many years.
Yeah. Well, I think it's great that you've been able to adapt and doing the online. And let's. I've been showing it a bit here, but enjoying our discussion. Cliff Erickson going to be playing for the Rotary Club of Sarnia. You're going to be the 39th pancake breakfast, but you're going to be a virtual pancake breakfast.
And there's another, highlight of my career. I've never been associated with a pancake breakfast. So I'll
Right.
probably be bragging about that. Look at what do you know about pancakes, David? Are you any good at it?
I it's funny. I don't cook. And years ago when my kids were younger, I tried to make pancakes and they called them scrambled pancakes. So no, I don't really know much about other than putting the butter and the syrup on.
Yeah, yeah.
Like that.
Because I have to brag. I make great pancakes. That's the only association I have with this. But those
Okay.
are pretty good pancakes right there. But the
Yeah.
stacks too, I couldn't eat that many. That's for sure.
No.
Yeah,
How did this all?
do I still look like that picture there? Do you think?
Well, I don't know. Did you give them the picture, or did they just they maybe
took
just
it off my
that?
website. Yeah. But how fast time moves, oh my God, I go, oh, I think I need another promo photo. Oh my gosh. And before you ask me anything else, can you tell me about your studio there? Who's that guy on the wall with the hat on?
Oh, you're throwing me off here.
Yeah, right there.
Oh, right there. Well, that's Gord Downey from the Tragically Hip.
Oh, okay.
And I
then
that was at Rock the Park 13, 15, maybe. I was there as media. I was that close almost to him there taking that picture.
Oh, that's cool. And then that chair you're sitting in, special order for a big star like you.
Yeah, oh, geez, here we go, big star. Yeah, right.
Well,
this actually, I thought you meant when you said the hat. You probably can't see that. That's Ben Vereen.
Oh, I love Ben Vereen.
And I interviewed him a few years ago out here in Petrolia. I spent a lot of time in here, Cliff. Right? So probably like you probably you need the good tools. You got to stay comfy, right?
You do, and I think you're doing a fantastic job. I really do. This is the first time I've heard you do an interview, and
thank you.
You're national quality without a doubt.
Oh, well. You see, Cliff Erickson said it, folks.
Yeah.
Hope the big network are watching.
Clip.
Well, it's the same as like what you're doing, Cliff. I did karaoke. I ran karaoke for years. That was my original gig, and Ronnie Frey still hasn't forgiven me for doing karaoke, but this is what I love, right? So when you're doing what you love, and you put the sweat equity into it. I've had those moments too where I'm not doing this, forget it, nobody cares, or nobody's, and then something moves you along, right? Whatever. So same thing. This is what I love to do. I love people. I love where I live. So it just makes sense to do it.
Yeah, and you do it all too. You upload the videos and everything. You do all the time.
Yeah, I'm producing most of the time. It's just me producing and running everything that you're seeing on the screen and the microphones. And this is my workspace right here. So I'm pretty fortunate. But I have to tell you, I got thinking I've never interviewed Cliff before, and I can't imagine why I haven't. It just never. I've thought about it a few times, and then I've had your phone number for a few years. We talked a few years ago, I think, but we just never got around to doing it.
Yeah. Well, when it's time, it happens,
That's right.
But you're doing it. That's a great job. Now, what are your plans down the road? You're going to evolve into because I think that's where this is going.
Right. Well, I've been live streaming for 10 years. I actually have a business as well, live streaming events, etc. outside of this. So yeah, for me, it was like, am I being interviewed by Cliff Erickson? It's okay. I when COVID came along and everybody started going online, being live, I was like, wow, live streaming. What a great idea, everybody.
Yeah.
Been doing that a while, right?
Yeah.
So, I got some plans. I still want to grow, and it's mostly been about when I first started the show. I did interview musicians from around the world. I have a lot of contacts around the planet, and then I just made it all about the community. But I'm narrating books now for Amazon and Audible, so I'm looking to interview those authors from wherever they might be. In the world. So that'll be the next step for me.
Yeah, good for you.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. And I appreciate you coming on here and giving me your time today, because I know you've still got to get some videos done so that we can.
I do. And I have to say that I'm going to do my best for the Rotary Club of Sarnia.
Yeah.
Jamie Paul, if you know him.
Yeah, I deal. That's what I deal with.
He's working real hard and he got me doing this. And I'm kind of pre-recording the songs. I am definitely
Yeah,
pre-recording the songs, and then I'm gonna upload it. I don't know how to upload. Well, I got Dropbox, and you probably know all of this,
yeah.
but I think I have to expand my gigabytes to upload that large of a file. And then
Okay.
I understand you're going to help with putting it on YouTube.
Yeah, I'm gonna help with the production once you send me the videos and stuff. You need help with that. I mean, well, you know how to reach me, so I can help with that. No problem.
Right.
Yeah, we'll make it work. It's gonna be, well, you're gonna make history because A, you've never had anything to do with pancakes, and B, you're doing it online.
That's right. This is a big time for me.
And
So,
you'll be like, that's one more for you to brag about when you're talking to people.
well, this is going to be Friday night at 8:00.
Yes.
And you can reach more information like you're seeing right now, the rotarysarnia.com. And if you can give $1 or $5, that would be great. But if you read at all the work that the Rotary does, and all the contributions they've made to, like I've mentioned, the Easter SEALs and hospice and Special Olympics, they just do a fantastic job. So the work that I'm doing is nothing compared to what those guys and ladies do in the trenches.
They do a lot. Well, I know they appreciate you being a part of it, and looking forward to the performance. Cliff, I was only expecting 15 minutes from you. We could probably keep going, but I'll let you get back, and we'll save it in the box, and let's have you back here in 2-3 months' time, and we'll do an update on Cliff Erickson.
It was great chatting with you, David.
The pleasure's all mine, sir. Stay safe.
All right. Bye-bye.
Cliff Erickson joining us here. What a pleasure. I've been looking forward to that interview for a few years. And like I said in there, I'm surprised we haven't. But like Cliff said, timing is everything, and now's the time. And it's the time to support Rotary Club of Sarnia, like many organizations who are looking for support in this time of unprecedented times. They're looking to raise quite a bit of money because their pancake breakfast typically raise about $10,000, I believe. I'm putting a number up there. So you'll be able to go to rotarysarnia.com. There'll be a donate page there, and you can donate at any size, 5, 10, 15, 20, 100, or whatever you're willing to do to help the Rotary Club of Sarnia. As Cliff mentioned, spreads out the money and supports many different organizations here in Sarnia, Lambton, and around the world. So your support will be greatly appreciated indeed. And Cliff, thank you so much. I can't wait till we get to sit down, hopefully in person next time, for another chat about the music world. All right. Well, speaking of music, I wanted to give a special mention out there as well. Also happening coming up this Saturday. What day is it? Friday. Sorry about that. Hidden Talents HT Glee is going virtual. We had a sneak peek on their Canada Day show that we had. Carrie spent the time to put together. Had a little bit of technical audio difficulties in there, so I want to be able to show that off as well. So here is, take a quick look at this. Once again, here is HT Glee, and then I'll be right back, and I'm going to finish off with a special video from Cliff Erickson.
So thanks, but no, I think I'm good to go, cause I quite enjoy the life you say I'm trapped in. Now I admire you, and that whole show you do. You're onto something, really it's something. But I live among the swells, we don't pick up peanut shells. I'll have to leave that up to you. Don't you know that I don't away from the same old, but I gotta play, cause I got what I needed. I don't wanna take a ride, I don't need to see the other side.
We are the dancing queens, young and sweet, only 5 to 9. Dancing queens, feel the beat from the tambourine, oh yeah. We can dance, we can drive, having the time of our lives. Ooh, see us kids, watch us see, digging the dancing queens. Anything I can. No, you can. Yes, I can. No, you can. Yes, I Come on, little shop on Homer's Pop Shop. They'll never stop the terror, little shop on Homer's no. Oh, oh, no, oh, oh, no, oh, oh, no.
All right, there you go. HT Glee presents virtual HT Glee on July the 10th. Now, here's what I'm thinking. So watch them, 6 o'clock. That starts, right? It's going to be awesome. Thank you so much to Carrie Beauchamp and all the HT Glee talent that put that video together. They're going to have a really great show for you, and it starts at 6 o'clock. So go watch HT Glee, and then you can go support Rotary Sarnia Lambton with our friend Cliff Erickson, who's going to be performing at the first virtual pancake breakfast. And they're looking for some of your support. Thanks again to all my guests. Thank you, Josh Lyons from Top Shelf Canada. And of course, a special interview with Cliff Erickson. And we're going to let Cliff wrap things up. That's all the time I got for you this week, everybody. Have a great week and an even better weekend. I will see you next time right here on the show. Bye for now.
Bye bye, Miss American Pie. Drove my Chevy to the levee, but the levee was right. And good old boys who were drinking whiskey and rye, saying this will be the day.
I just want to introduce Cliff Erickson to you tonight. He comes to us from Port Huron, Michigan. Cliff has been performing for over 25 years, and he really loves what he does.
Money talks. It don't sing and dance. It don't walk. Long as I can have you here with me, I'd much rather be forever in blue jeans, babe. Ladies and gentlemen, name this tune. This one. This one. Yeah, it's 9 o'clock on a Saturday, and the regular crowd shuffles in. There's an old man sitting next to me, making love to his tonic and gin. I'm going to introduce you to my band. On guitar, me. And that's it. This will be the day. This will be the day. This will be the day that I die.